Hey there, hi, welcome to the channel. I am Garrett and thank you for spending some time with me today because in this video, we are talking about interior design regrets. Now, as a designer, I see these things all of the time and my clients always bring them to me to fix. So let's avoid them in your home before I have to circle back and fix them later. The first thing we have to talk about is a little bit touchy, but we have to dive into it, and that is a tufted wool rug. Now, I love a tufted wool rug because it's actually a pretty good price point. Like, you get a lot of value for what you spend on them. They're much cheaper than a hand knotted wool rug, but the regret people have is that they always shed. They always shed and they never stop shedding. And so a lot of people just don't like it. And it affects us as people more than it affects the rug itself. And what I mean by that, I speak to from personal experience because I've had tufted wool rugs where, you know, it's not shedding all over the floor. Like, maybe you get that the first week you have it, okay? But then after that, it's like when you vacuum it, every time you vacuum it, the vacuum will be full of little bits of fibers of wool from the rug. It never stops shedding. Now, what I will also say is that when I had wool rugs, I did have to get rid of them just because, like, when you all know my little dog Albert, who passed away, he got to be a little bit older. He couldn't really control all of his everything, and so they got ruined. But that's okay, okay? Love him. He was worth it. So I did have to get rid of them from that point, but I probably had them for like 7 or 8 years and they never looked thin. They never really showed signs that they were shedding or that it was having an effect on them, their like lifespan. So you can live with a tufted wool rug for a very long time, but it will never stop shedding. Now, here's the bad part about the wool rugs. Like, the shedding is like, take it or leave it, okay? You're gonna have that. But if they're not made properly, if they're not made with very good quality in mind, the edges of them start to come apart. And once you start getting loss of the tufting on the edges, it doesn't stop. It's literally like chunks of it come out every time you vacuum it. So you have to be very careful about how you vacuum it, the vacuums you use. It's not recommended to use robot vacuum cleaners on them. It's actually recommended that you turn the circly thing in the vacuum cleaner off so that it doesn't, you know, rip apart the rug. You have to be careful with them, and they require a little bit of delicacy, so it's not for everyone. A lot of people regret getting tufted wool rugs because they do shed, but you get a lot of value for the money you spend on them. You get a wool rug for typically, honestly, I would spend over $1,000 on a tufted wool rug, and that would be at the highest end. So you can usually get them for a couple of $100s as opposed to a couple of $thousands for a hand knotted wool rug. But there's a big difference in quality, and most people end up regretting getting a tufted wool rug because of the way it sheds. Another design regret, and I take as a personal attack on me, okay, is a barn door. Most people do not like barn doors. They end up regretting putting them in because you get zero privacy with a barn door. Like, it just, in concept, in theory, it's okay. But in reality, no, absolutely not. Now, let's be honest. I don't have a barn door in my home. I never have and I never will. But I have stayed at many lovely hotels that I will never be back to because they have barn doors on the bathrooms. And it's just a nightmare. The doors don't close. It's literally like a curtain. When you know what it is. Like, you go to a store, a boutique of some sort, you want to try something on, and it's like, oh, there's a curtain for the changing room, and it's like, I don't know if I like that, okay? You know, it's nothing separating anybody, and somebody's gonna walk in and open the curtain, and then there it all is out in the open. I don't like that. That's not my fantasy. So a barn door, a lot of people like them because, you know, it's pretty versatile. It fits in a lot of spaces. If you don't have room for a door to swing, well, the only other option you have is a pocket door, and you have to tear your house half apart to put that in. So a barn door just applies to a wall and slides. And that seems like a good option for people because, you know, it can be added after the fact relatively easily. But the problem is when you put them on spaces that require privacy or even just quiet, like a home office. If I need to close the door to be on a Zoom call or the phone, a barn door doesn't do anything. Maybe it muffles the noise slightly, but it's still completely open on the sides and the bottom. Like, it doesn't lock in place. And it's even worse on a bathroom because it doesn't close. Like, there are gaps around it. I stayed at a hotel once where it had a barn door on the bathroom and it would just slide open. You know, like, you would close the barn door, which wasn't closing much, but it was just my husband and I, so like, whatever. But like, it would just slide open as you were in the bathroom. And so if he orders room service while I'm in the shower, somebody's getting a view. And I don't like that. I don't want to be the person walking in there and seeing all of that. So I don't like a barn door. I don't think that they're efficient enough. I don't think they actually do what you want them to do. I think that's more of an aesthetic thing than a useful thing. So most people end up regretting or not liking having a barn door. And a lot of people will tell you, oh, barn doors are out, they're dated, blah, 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 farmhouse. I'm not a hater. So I will tell you when something is dated or not. Like, I get it. The barn door, it's not dated because of the style of it. It's dated because it just is horrible, okay? It just doesn't work. It doesn't function like that. Most people end up regretting barn doors. So do not put one in. Instead, work with a designer to come up with a better, more creative solution. A designer like me, I'm at your service. You could always book a one-on-one virtual consultation with me where you can show me around your home and I can answer any and all of your design questions. You can book that using the link in the description box down below or by going to intro.co/GarrettLeChic. Another design choice people end up regretting that I then have to go behind them and fix later, which, hey, it pays the bills, so I don't mind it, and I shouldn't be sharing it, but I'm looking out for you. So that thing is going to be trend-driven tile. Tile is expensive to change, and even if it's not the most difficult thing in the world, right? It's not like taking out a supporting wall in your house, but it's tile. Usually there's waterproofing behind it, so we have to make sure that's intact and everything. Tile's not the easiest thing to change. It's certainly not inexpensive. So opting for trend-driven tile is a recipe for a disaster, for a nightmare, and I don't like that. And basically, every time a style becomes really popular, we see a tile that fits that niche perfectly. You know what I mean? Like originally, like with the Tuscan design, it was the tumbled travertine or tumbled marble backsplash tiles. And you know, they're fine now, like it looks all right, but it just depends on, did you add the little border into it? And did you add the hand painted tile with the grapes on it? Or, you know, you have mid-century, people love it. Okay, love, love, love mid-century, but the glass mosaic tile, that is that thing. It says early 2000s design to me, mid-century inspired. It just looks dated and it says that age. So opting for those sorts of things just don't make a space look timeless, and you want to change them down the line. But once again, that's difficult. It is not inexpensive. It's, you know, like a lot of work to change tile. Another one was with like the farmhouse style, the black and white cement looking tile. No. We're not friends, okay? I don't like that tile. I've never liked it. It's too graphic, it's too bold, and when it's in a space, it's just so overwhelming that it's not something you can see past, and it's very, very indicative of the period of time it was put in. So when you are looking for tile in your space, look for something that is not any style specific. Look for something that's kind of neutral. Usually what I like to do with tile is I'll just take the countertop material I've chosen and I pull from that. So if it's a backsplash in a kitchen, I'm going to pull from the countertop material. If I can't do slabs, I'm going to pull from that material and then just match the colors on the backsplash and look for a pattern that matches the architectural style of the home. So if it's a traditional home, I'm gonna look for a more traditional pattern tile, like maybe it's at a 45-degree angle, maybe it's a offset brick pattern. That's easy and simple and cool. If it's a more modern home, I might go with an oversized tile so we get that slab-like effect. Those are good ideas to keep in mind. For a bathroom, I'm going to look at what's the style of the cabinetry, what countertop do we have there, and then I will choose a more neutral take on that, because bathrooms, they're smaller spaces, they're busier, you have a lot going on in that area, so I don't want something that's highly graphic or really busy in those spaces. Even if I'm gonna choose a crazy color, I'm then going to try and neutralize that by simplifying some other things. And so you wanna be very careful when it comes to tile that you're not choosing something that's trendy, you're choosing something that reflects the style of the home or your personal style so that it's not dated and you have to rip it out later. Another major regret people have when they are designing or decorating their home is that they rush the design. Is that they're not taking their time, they're not being thoughtful, and they're not planning things, and then they end up just buying whatever they can so they have something in the space, or, you know, oh, I have to choose a backsplash tile today, and so they end up making a decision that they just regret because they rushed the design, they didn't give themselves enough time on it. Do not put yourself in the position where you are boxed in and you are forced to make a decision on a day. Like, I need to have a little bit of time to sit on my options, look at them in the space, and think about them. Same thing goes for paint colors. All the time I meet with clients who say, what is the paint color I should paint these walls? Did you put swatches up for me to look at in that space? Can I see it? Do I know what that looks like? I don't even know what paint store is near you, right? Like all of these things matter. So when it comes to choosing paint colors, I don't rush anything. I don't want to do that. Like every once in a while you get boxed in, but then we have samples there, we can see them and we'll make a decision based on what's there or the best version of that. Or I'll tell you exactly what I want to see instead of those, and then you can make that decision. You cannot rush design. I know you want it to be done for when you have family coming over the holidays or, oh, we need to get it done before we move in. Yeah, but sometimes it's better if you're doing big major renovations to live in it for a little while, see how it functions and see what you don't like about it, or maybe you see what you do like about it and you choose function over form. And I love that. Now, if you've made it this far in the video and you're seeing the value in the content, I would love to have you as a part of our GarrettLeChic family. So please take a moment, hit the subscribe button and join us. Whether you're working on a big renovation at your home, you're trying to make some difficult decisions, or you are just a design lover, we've always got something for you. So please join our GarrettLeChic family by hitting the subscribe button. And I would greatly appreciate if everyone watching could give this video a like and maybe give it a little bit of hype too. Now, another choice people always regret when they are designing their home that I end up having to go behind and fix is usually paint colors. Not everybody is great at choosing paint colors, and a lot of people will pick something they like in the store and they look at the swatch and they're like, yeah, that looks great. Okay, we'll take it. We'll take a gallon or 2 gallons. They get it home, they paint their walls, and they just are like, I don't know why I made this decision. I don't know what I was thinking about. There's so many answers to how to choose paint colors and what to do, and it very much is personal, but I don't ever like looking at paint swatches in a store. Like I'll look at them there so I can pull a couple of them and take them home, but I have to look at that paint in the lighting in that space, because when I'm in a store under fluorescence, that paint don't look the same as it does in my house. When I'm outside in direct light, it gets completely blown out. It just looks all white to me, basically. So like you have to look at paint colors in your home and get samples on your wall. The other thing is a lot of people will look at paint colors and decide when they're looking at them like in a horizontal position, like they're looking down at them. You cannot read color looking flat at it. You have to hold it in the position it will be. So you have to look at it vertically. You have to look at that color on your walls in your space. Next, you want to look at your inspiration photos or what other features you have in your space. If you have wall-to-wall carpet and you want to neutralize space and you don't want to attract attention to that wall-to-wall carpet, paint your walls the same color as the carpet. That way, it all just blends in. It's completely seamless, nobody sees it, and that's that. If you have warm toned floors in your home, you don't choose a cool toned color unless you're trying to accentuate the floors. So we kind of want to choose something that has a little bit of a warmer base to it and go from there. So look for inspiration, check the paint colors out in your home so you don't end up painting your whole house in a color you hate and end up regretting it, and then we have to fix it all later. Another mistake people make and they end up regretting it in their home and they just don't like it is that they choose one style to decorate in. Choosing one style is natural. It feels easier, right? It's less kind of intimidating when you just say like, this is my style and I'm gonna do that one thing. If you say, my style is Tuscan and everything I do is Tuscan, everything you do is Tuscan. And so you can make that choice. If you say my style is all mid-century, that's a choice and you can do it, and that's great. Most people end up regretting using just one style of furniture in their home because it can feel like a time capsule. It can feel dated very quickly, right? Like if you're choosing something that's a little trendier at the moment and you do everything into it, you commit that much to it, it's kind of like, okay, you know, like now the trend has moved on, so you're out of style. But if you had mixed in some different pieces there, you would have something that's really personal, that's really timeless, that doesn't ever feel dated. So when I'm working with a client, I'm always keeping this in mind. We're gonna take the style they have, we're gonna take the style of the architecture of the house, and we're gonna blend it together. Plus we're gonna throw in some wild cards there that just feel a little bit more interesting and will brighten the space up. It'll either, maybe it's a little dated now, but it'll be fresh when it comes back on trend in a year, or maybe it's something that's just a complete wild card and doesn't relate to the style at all, but it feels more intentional and personal. I hate it when I go into a home or someone shows me their space and everything is really beautiful. It's really nice. It all looks really good, but they're just like, I'm not happy with it. I don't like it. I overcommitted to this. Like, what do I do and how do I fix it? Well, we need to add some character. We need to add some personality and mix in some different styles. That way, it actually makes sense and it feels like you live there, like it's somewhere you're going to enjoy being. Sometimes that's all about adding in a little bit more color. Sometimes that's about swapping out some pieces. You can also make a big statement with the style of artwork, the style of soft furnishings and pillows and throw blankets and rugs in your space to make it feel a little bit more curated. That's the whole takeaway here. Your home should feel curated, not styled or staged. It has to feel like it was created over a longer period of time as opposed to something that happens like that. Well, there you have it, everyone, and thanks for spending some time with me today. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure you check out this video right over here, all about the trends that are in and what is out for 2026, and I will see you over there.